All right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome. I want to thank you guys for joining in early. I see people are joining in. I'm so happy to see everyone joining early. It tells me two things. It tells me that we're excited about this conversation this evening. It tells me that we're intentional about making progress in our financial lives. And it tells me that you guys find this conversation valuable. So that's good feedback from me. And I want to appreciate all of you um, for showing up. So we're here a bit early, so we're just going to give it like a few minutes just to kind of allow everyone join in. Allow you guys to settle in and get ready to like soak up this conversation. It's going to be a great conversation. I have a great guest, and when I say great guest, I usually say that a lot, but I am not kidding when I do say good things about our guest, because these are all people that I have conversations with prior to introducing them to the community, and I know the substance that these people are made of. Um, Today we have a very interesting guest, a very kind uh, you know, um, guest as well. Prior to us concluding on this program, had conversations with him, chats with him, and this is really someone who one knows his stuff, and two, someone who's gracious enough to give out value, give out some of the experience that he has picked up over the years, give out some of the knowledge that he has, and that's usually rare to find, because people just gather things and just keep them to themselves. But whenever you run into people who are always willing to help other people, it's always a very, very good thing to see. Okay, so this is 1 minute past 7. So out of respect for everyone who came here, I started this call at 8:57. I mean 6:57, 3 minutes before the scheduled time. So out of respect for everyone who has come here early, we're just gonna get started, right? Conversation is already being recorded. So yes, once again, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the first of its kind. Actually, this is the first of this type of program that we're doing on here in our online community. So I'm going to give you guys a brief of what we're trying to achieve over the next 4 weeks, and then we're going to have like a great 1 hour conversation. So what we're doing is we're in collaboration with a finance club called Club E.F.I. First of all, you guys can even understand how hard it is to collaborate with, you know, another organization that is pretty much doing the same thing that you're doing. But we've been able to find some middle ground, right? And not think about competition, but think about collaboration. So in collaboration with Club E.F.I, the Rise Investment Club, and Club E.F.I, we've put together a mentorship program, right? This mentorship program, the structure of this program really is that we're going to have conversations, virtual conversations here on Telegram, every Saturday for the next 4 weeks, right? 1 hour conversations about entrepreneurship, right? We have two resource people from Club E.F.I, two entrepreneurs, real business people, guys, real business people, people who are actually out there on the field running businesses, and they're going to come here to speak to us, give us some valuable insights around four topics that we've selected, right? And at the end of these four topics, we're going to go an extra step, and then they are willing to accommodate some of the most engaged people from this community to actually come in and learn from them directly. So this is not just going to be like a virtual, lecture or what have you. After all of this, we're actually going to do practicals. After the theory, we're actually going to have the opportunity to do practicals with real businessmen who are out there on the field, right? So that's the structure of this program. This is week 1. This is the launch, and you guys are welcome, right? My guest is already here. Let me give my chief speaking permission first, and then I'm going to introduce him, right? So, guys, the first topic that we have today, essentially, we're starting off by talking about building businesses. So, the topic for today is identifying opportunities and building a viable idea as an entrepreneur. So if you're someone who wants to go down the line of running their own business, if you're someone who's already running a business, who just started running a business, then this conversation is definitely for you, right? And yeah, introducing my guest, Mr. Segun. He's the founder of Club E.F.I. Mr. Segun is someone who has been in business for a minute now. Um, he's also an angel investor. He's the person that like I gave that whole comment about being gracious enough to come here to like share insights with us. So guys, I'd like us to welcome Shego to this conversation. He's our resource person for today. Hi boss. How are you doing? Do you want to say hi to the room real quick? I've given you speaking permission. Hi, Chief. I can't hear you. I see you unmuted your mic, but you're not saying anything.
Can you hear me now?
Aha, yeah, loud and clear. Welcome. Good evening.
Oh,
How are you doing
okay.
this evening?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Thank you very much for having me. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us. So our community is really excited about this. I think we have like a good turn up so far. There's a decent number of people in the room. Um, very
Mm.
intelligent people ready to go. So guys, what's going to happen is that I'm going to leave the floor for Mr. Tegan to speak on the topic that we have today. So please, I want to encourage every one of us to pull out your notes. He's going to speak to us for about 30 to 40 minutes. So you want to pull out your notes, jot some of the things that he's sharing, some of the insights that he's sharing, and as well keep your questions because at the end of all of this, you guys will have, um, an opportunity to ask him a few questions before we round this up at the hour mark. All right. So guys, sit back and enjoy. Boss, over to
All
you.
right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Good evening, everyone. Or let me just say good afternoon or good morning, depending on which part of the world you are. Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure. It's an honor. Thank you so very much for having me today. Like Chubi said, I would be speaking with you on entrepreneurship and a few other things that he has outlined for me to touch on. I will be, of course, happy to take questions at the end of this session. So please feel free to scribble down your questions, and then when we get to the Q&A, I'll be happy to take your questions. All right. So my name is Segun Aderibigbe once again. It's a pleasure to be here, and I welcome you also. Thank you for listening to me. So the topic borders around talking about identifying opportunities, building viable business ideas as an entrepreneur, exploring your passion, market needs, focusing on where there are opportunities. You're also looking at things like building a strong business model, things revolving revenue streams, cost structures, and value proposition. It's actually a mouthful, right? I hope I can touch on all of this in the time allotted to me. Okay, so from my personal research, Business Day, KPMG, and World Bank says that about out of five businesses, four fail in their first year of operation. And out of the surviving one, when it makes up to 160, only 32 will be alive in the first 5 years of operation. Now, in that 32, eight will be flourishing, all right, while the others would have declared bankruptcy, changed direction, gotten acquired, or they'll be barely surviving. Now, statistically, Nigeria sits in 131st position out of 190 countries ranked with the ease of doing business. So the tendency for you to fail in business in Nigeria is already greater than 50%. In other words, you have actually been configured to fail even before you start. Why? Because there are a lot of things bedeviling your entrepreneurial venture. Now, does that now mean that we should just sit down and cross our fingers and let life happen to us? Obviously, no. So despite all of these things, do I still encourage people to be entrepreneurs? Yes, I do. And I support it, I encourage it, and it's not wrong, and it's not for you to be intimidated by the success you can make out of being an entrepreneur. You know, lawyers will always tell you volunteer non fit injuria, which means to a willing person, it is not wrong. While we believe that despite all of these challenges, you can make success out of your entrepreneurial venture, either you're just starting out, you're an aspiring entrepreneur, or you've been in this business for a while, and you've been having the ups and downs, which is like the norm we have in this space. I like you to understand that Nigeria is a home to over 200 million people, and the SME space in Nigeria actually contributes 48% of Nigeria's GDP and 84% of the workforce. Thereby, SME, remains a critical driver for economic growth and development. So the truth is this: despite all the challenges that may be bedeviling your entrepreneurial quest, one thing is key. You would like to be a part of this, because no economy can actually survive where the SMEs are suffering or where the SMEs are not thriving. Now, apart from making an impact, it's also critical for you to have something for yourself. I respect employees a lot. I love you guys. I cherish you guys. But you know one thing? One day you will leave that paid employment. I always tell people employees have one of the following 3 dead ends. 1, you will retire at old age. And by that time, you will have no energy or time to trade for money. 2, you can be fired from your job, and this can lead to sudden disruption in your financial plan or personal or family lifestyle. If you're not asked to retire, if you're not fired from your job, you'll be asked to resign one day, right? So I remain an unrepentant proponent for people having their own business, because your father is not the owner of that company you work for as an employee. And the issue is that this will surely happen. So it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when it will happen. What will you do? COVID struck about 4 years ago. I was in Singapore when COVID struck. I was one of the few people who got back into the country before the whole world went into lockdown. It was a global pandemic. We didn't even know if it was the end of the world. And I have some friends who have not still recovered today from the impact of COVID. In other words, in your place of employment, one day you'll be asked to resign, one day you'll be asked to retire, or you may even be dismissed. I know a friend, he was given Employee of the Year in 2019. By April 2020, in the full effect of COVID, he was asked to resign. So these are one of the reasons why people should have their own thing going. On top of that, I will tell you the story of, Olusegun Obasanjo's father-in-law, Papa Abebe, the father of late Stella Obasanjo. This elder statesman joined UAC Foods as an accounts clerk. If you don't know UAC Foods, I'm sure you know Gala, Mr. Biggs. These are the guys that makes these stuffs. He joined, UAC Foods as an accounts clerk and spent all his life rising from, I think, one of the branches of UAC Foods in Edo State. And he rose to becoming the MD and the chairman. And after all his productive years, he was told, "Sir, it's time to go." So one day you will leave that employment. And that's the reason why I keep saying you need to have something going for you. Now, must you all do business? No, you don't have to be the active person doing the business, right? But you should have something, have multiple streams of income. Even if you go to the RiseVest app, it's diversified, the portfolio and all of that. So try to have something going for you. So apart from the financial aspect on how you pay the bills when you are at old age, there's also the concern for your mental health. Somebody who is already used to a 9 to 5 for 35 to 40 years suddenly gets a shift in his work-life balance. Now he's told to retire. Now, of course, the first 1 week of retirement, he may look good, he may be enjoying it because it's a vacation. Second week, you may still be enjoying that freedom. By the time you hit your third, fourth, fifth week, and you realize you've got a lot of time in your hands and you've got nothing to do, your mental and physical vigor may begin to derail. So, having said all of these things, let's now touch on some of the things that Chubi gave to me to talk about. I believe at least with these few things I've said earlier, you can come to an agreement that entrepreneurship is a beautiful thing to experience, if you are not one already anyway. So, instead I should talk about identifying opportunities, building a viable business idea as an entrepreneur. I'd like you to understand that there are three kinds of entrepreneurs, right? The first one is necessity entrepreneur, somebody who has money, right? They don't have what to do with that money, but they need to do something. They may be retirees. I mean, we get a lot of them in our club. In some of the speaking engagements I also got, they'll say, oh, come and talk to this set of people, I don't want to mention names, some government parastatals, like, oh, they're about to retire and they want to know what to do with the money because, I mean, the gratuity, the pensions is massive. Now, these may be retirees and they are just driven by activities. They're not necessarily driven by profits. So necessity entrepreneurs are just, let's just have something to do. Let's just have a place to go, and all of that. So they are driven by activities. The second category of entrepreneurs are the social entrepreneurs. These ones, they just want to create impact. They want to have a non-governmental organization. They just want to create a social impact. They want to be change agents. These guys are driven by impact. Even though these days, some NGOs are they are money driven. Then the most common one is the opportunity entrepreneur. These are people who actually have discovered an opportunity, right? They've found a pain point. And for everything that people buy, it's either to get a gain or lose a pain. So opportunity entrepreneurs, I would say arguably more than 70% are opportunity entrepreneurs. They create and take advantage. They see a gap. They want to solve that gap. They want to solve that problem. They've spotted an opportunity. And these ones are highly driven by profits. Now, talking about finding your niche, the first thing is to evaluate your own skill sets, your own talents, which are things you naturally can do better than others. And I always encourage people, apart from passing the 6 litmus tests, you should be able to build something around your skill sets, things around your talents. Build your business around what you naturally can do better than others. Someone like me, I don't know how to sing. So if you give me a microphone, there's no way I can run, a music business or a music stuff. It's not just in me. There's nothing music in me. But I've got eye for detail. I've got eyes for aesthetics. I've got eyes for properties. And that's why I'm in the kind of business I am in. So I won't tell you to go and build a business around what you're not skilled or what you're not cut out for. I'll only encourage you to build something around those things that you find as a personal advantage to you. Of course, we can go deep into, must it be something around my skill set? No. But if it is around your skill set, it just makes your entrepreneurial journey a bit smoother, right? Talking about building a strong business model, that's one of the things Chubi also asked me to touch on. So I will say it has to start from the very foundation. If you want to build a strong business model, you've got to take a critical look at yourself. Are you running a business, a side hustle, a paid hobby? I mean, there's a difference among these three. Some people are doing side hustles. Even the word hustle is not even a positive word, right? They are not running a business. They are running a side hustle. Why some are not running a side hustle? They're actually doing a paid hobby, not running a business. If you are running a business, things should be properly done from the basics. And you know one thing, these things don't even cost a lot. It just adds some professionalism. It just adds some structure around what you do. One major thing between or amongst these three things is that a business is an entity of its own. Even if it's not an LLC, it should be a business name. Not when you say you are running a business and somebody says, okay, I want to give you a contract, and then they ask you, okay, share your account details, let's issue you a purchase order and give you an advance payment, and then you are saying, oh, Segun Aderibigbe so bank. savings account, they're not going to take you serious. Enterprise businesses cannot do business with you. Forget your anointing. People regard excellence. So, do you have a business? Even if it's not an LLC, please have a business name. Have you defined your target audience? These are the things that helps you build a strong business model. Do you have a business plan? No matter how simple it is. It doesn't have to be a 50-page business plan. A business plan can simply be, this is what we do, this is our target audience, this is the financial target we've set for ourselves, this is our marketing strategy. Even if we don't have so many employees, at least 1 or 2 persons, or just me alone, these are the things I want to do in the first few months, first few weeks. Something simple, a plan. Are there goals set for the business? Do you have a website? Okay, even if you don't have a website, do you even have at least social media handles? Instagram, X, Facebook, till tomorrow, they are free to open an account. And when you even open an account on these social media handles, are they uniform names? Don't say it is Segun Slippers on Instagram, Segun_Slippers_Nigeria on Facebook, then Segun International Slippers on Twitter. It doesn't put a good face to it. Do you have readily accessible photographs of your sample products? A lot of customers are visual. Thank you for how good you can speak. But sometimes if they don't see a sample of what they want to buy, they won't take you serious. Do you have a simple accounting system? There are so many tools out there. Excel sheets is even simple enough to document your expenses and your income, right? And there are so many tools. In Club E.F.I, we've got a mobile app we've built for SMEs. You can download it, you can generate, simple accounting, reporting, and all of those things. But I mean, that's a topic for another day. Do you have a price list? Do you have inventory? Do you have orderable supplies? Can somebody place an order to you now and say, okay, I'm going to deliver to you in the next 24 hours? How about branding, logo, colors, tagline? Some of you will see the Nike logo. Even without the word Nike, you know it's Nike. You see the Adidas logo. Even without the name Adidas, you know it's an Adidas. You see the iPhone, the Apple logo. Even without being told this is an Apple product, you know that's an Apple product. Is there consistency in it? What's your unique selling proposition? Unique, in other words, it's not common. Selling, in other words, it's something that leads to sale, and proposition is something that is actionable. Why should I buy from you? Why don't I buy from who I've been buying from? So do you have unique selling propositions bundled into your products or services? Because customers are going beyond just the products. They are going towards experience. They want to be your fandom. That is, they want to be your own evangelist. Your unique selling proposition makes regular customers become your fan. Why do you think people will take 1 day leave from office because iPhone 15 is just launching, and they will go and queue as early as 4 a.m. at the nearest Apple store? Those guys are no longer customers. Those guys are fans, die-hard fans, right? So what's your unique selling proposition? You've got to build this into the product so that you're not just selling the same thing other people are selling. I tell people, if 2 people are the same, 1 person is irrelevant. Sorry, let me stop here. Chubi, are you still with me? Let me be sure that my audio is still good and people are following.
Yeah, Segun, we're still with you. Listen to you.
Okay. Excellent. Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. So, these are the things. Then how do you separate your personal finance from the business finance? Business money is business money. Your money is your money. Your money is not business money, and business money is not your money. If you take a loan from the business, you pay the business back with an interest. If the business takes a loan from you, the business must pay you back so that you know the true health, financial health of your business. Do you have a marketing budget? Because the reason why you're in business is marketing, but the reason why you are still in business is sales. The reason why you have a business is marketing, but the reason why you are still in business is sales. Now, let's quickly jump to the other things that he said I should touch on, which is about market needs, revenue streams, and so on and so forth. So I just finished talking about marketing. In marketing, sales do not happen unless there's an exchange. Of course, you accountants can call it debtor. After all, I've written it out. It's something that has been, but until there is a payment, personally, I don't consider it as a sale that has been closed. Please you accountants on the call, don't come for me. I understand where you may be coming from, saying, well, even though a purchase order has been issued and has been signed, a sale has been made. I understand, all right? But I just want to keep it on a high level because we have, different audience, people with different levels of understanding. So let's not just get it mixed up or get people confused, right? Exchange is when you actually release that service or that product and you get value for it, monetary value, right? Or some other value anyway, because some people can still be in the business of trade by barter. So your marketing must be an activity that communicates, delivers, and to this end, offers an exchange to the customer. So if you are communicating and you are not delivering, like people know, oh, this guy is into selling of Ankara, this guy is into selling of laptops. Yes, you have communicated, but sale has not been made. Delivering, okay, we deliver it, and the customer says, oh, I have a return policy. If it does not meet my requirements in the first 7 days, I can return it. Sale is still not made. But when there is now an exchange, then I can say sale has been made. So the right product must have good features, great benefit, and that experience that makes your customers your fan. And it has to be sold to the right market. Now, I understand customers can be a bit challenging. They will tell you, oh, your price is too high. Customers will say you're profiteering. Sometimes they'll say it is too low. And this maybe you're trying to be predatory because maybe you've got something behind that you're still going to use to surprise them in the future. And if you give them the same price, they'll say, okay, maybe you're colluding. So rather than adjusting your pricing strategy, please don't sell based on being the cheapest in the market. I've never seen any scalable business scale based on being the cheapest. I don't sell my products based on being the cheapest because there will always be a cheaper product out there and there will always be a more expensive product out there. So ensure you include value into your product or service because that is what will remain when price is long forgotten. And customers will always, consider price when there is nothing else to offer. But when you're offering value, customers will not think about price. Nobody goes to a Lamborghini showroom or a Ferrari showroom and thinks about price. They built a brand and the brand speaks for itself. And you know one thing, you don't see them in the car shows. It's in the airline shows when Boeing or Airbus is launching the latest Airbus or Boeing 787 or whatever, launching the latest. That air show is where you see the likes of Lamborghinis and the Ferraris because their customers are not sitting in front of television. So don't ever sell by being the cheapest. You cannot scale in such a market because there will always be a cheaper alternative. Customers are full of alternatives. I mean, they have a lot of alternatives. Customers are more money conscious. Customers are more critical of products. If you give them a little experience that they don't kind of enjoy, before you know it, they go rate you on Google Play Store or they start tweeting about you and all of that. So customers are very critical and there's high internet and mobile penetration. So everybody has got a smartphone, they can go tweet anything, even if it is wrong, even if it is trash. People can be people, right? Human beings will just be human beings. Customers are tougher in negotiation, customers are more demanding, and customers are less loyal. So integrate, into your product that value that makes customers not just buy any other product, but become your fan. Okay. Chubi also asked me to touch a bit on. Okay, so value can be, quality, speed, durability, ambience you give to them, the workforce, prestige, service delivery, or even linkage companies. Right? Because sometimes customers want to have that one-stop shop. Now, this takes me to maybe second to the last stuff he wants me to talk about, because I can see we are fast spent with time and want to take as many questions as possible. So he talked about cost structures. Now, when it comes to pricing, which I just finished talking about, it has a lot to do with the way you structure your cost, the way you structure your pricing. Customers want to have that one-stop shop. And that's why I talked about building an experience, elevating your customers' experience from just buying a product to being your fan. Let me give you two scenarios. Scenario one, somebody says, I want to paint my house. And then he calls on a company and the company says, oh, okay, you want to paint your house? Okay, we saw these paints. It goes for 50,000 naira. And he says, okay. Then he calls company two. Company two says, oh, you want to buy paints? Do you have a painter? Do you know the quantity of paints that you need? What if I send someone to come and estimate so that you don't overbuy or you underbuy? And then we finish painting, and then we even stagger the payment for you. We do the transportation for you. You don't even need to bother about going to the market under the sun or rain to go and pick up this item yourself. And then you can pay, you can make your payments maybe in the space of 2 weeks, during the course of the project. You don't need to pay 100%, but upon completion of the project, you've got to pay us 100%. And we can give you a discount card that you can attach to your next painting project. Company two has actually given the customer a one-stop shop experience. Like, oh, you mean from the comfort of my house or office, I can call this company, they can get everything done for me, and I just cross my leg. This customer would most likely go for the second company. Sometimes the second company may actually even charge higher. But because of that experience, I mean, iPhone is not cheap, but why will people go 4 a.m., take a leave from work because they want to get their hand on the latest iPhone so that they can do unboxing of the iPhone and upload it on YouTube? Why? They've turned them to evangelists, so to say. That experience is what people want to have. Because I just told you, customers have a lot of alternatives. They are more money conscious. They are more critical of products. They are tougher in negotiation. They are more demanding. And they are less loyal. So you need to know how to do your costing. And I'll just tell you a few things here. Number one is there is a difference between your profit and your profit margin. Your profit margin is what keeps you in business. Because if you are not able to use your profit margin to calculate your break-even point, you won't even know if you're making profits or losses at the end of the year. Yes, you can have an accountant, an auditor, blah, 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 and then they can, help you with all of these things. But as an entrepreneur, maybe you don't even have that capacity to employ, marketers and accountants and HR and, all sorts of positions. You are trying to do this yourself, at least for the first few weeks or few months or few years. I want you to take down this simple calculation. Calculate your profit margin by simply writing selling price minus cost price, all divided by your selling price. That will give you your profit margin. So that could give you maybe 0.5, 0.6, 0.3, 0.25. It actually does not matter. I don't know how you do your pricing. But your selling price minus your cost price, all divided by your selling price, gives you your profit margin. Sorry, we are doing this exercise because Chubi asked me to talk about cost structure, right? And I use it in my business, and I feel it will be very important to you to use as well. Then, number two, your burn rate. What's your burn rate? Your burn rates are your monthly fixed expenses. Your monthly fixed expenses. I know we can have a lot of theologians, or sorry, accountants, and all of those things. But again, like I said, we are trying to keep this simple so that we carry everybody along. So I know there are professors of accountancy and PhD holders in accounting, but let's just try and keep it simple in the most correct and simple terms. Your bond rates are your monthly fixed expenses. This could be the salaries, your rent per month, which you divide, what you have per year into months, then your utilities, and some other fixed costs, right? Maybe you run diesel for your generator, or, prepaid tokens or whatever. Those costs that you cannot dodge, they are non-discretionary to your business, right? So let's add up all those things. You get your bond rate for that month, right? Of course, this can vary from month to month because, again, some businesses can be very seasonal, right? It's getting towards Christmas. A lot of people are doing a lot of parties. So maybe you're in the cooking or culinary business, you're in the entertainment business, you're in the showbiz, a lot of people are doing maybe end of year party and all of those. So I understand all of those seasonal periods as well. You're in the poultry business. I think during August, if I'm not making a mistake, there's a lot of glut for eggs, so the price drops and all of that. So yes, some businesses can be very seasonal. So I recognize that sometimes you could have fluctuations in your bond rates, right? But let's just keep it simple. You have a minimum bond rate you incur on a monthly basis. Now, your break-even point will be your bond rate divided by your profit margin. That will give you a figure. That is your break-even point. Anything lesser than that amount you are making simply means you are making a loss. So use that simple formula for your cost structure, and then you'll be able to at least know on a month-on-month basis if you're making profits or losses. Yes, maybe some months you can make some profits, some months you can make some losses and all of that. That's clear, that's understandable. But again, let's just use that as a guide, right? Some other people use other strategies, but that's okay. I use this one and it works for me. So a lot have been said. Please pick your own lessons, run with it. And, in our own club, we tell people as entrepreneurs, you've got to run your business like you run your personal finance. And of course, when it's not a one-on-one consultation, people can drop different meanings to different things. So you may not agree with all I have said. It's okay. I mean, we are all open to learning, right? You may have contributions. Those are welcome. And of course, if you have questions, we really appreciate. I think I should drop the mic here. It's almost 3 minutes to 7:40 West African time. Shubi, let me stop here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chief. Thank you so much. That was well put together. I think you talked about a lot of complex things, but you said them in very simplistic forms. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed this personally speaking. Okay, so for everyone, guys, Mr. Segun has essentially just done his presentation. His own part of his talk. So it's up to you guys now to ask him questions. Remember, this is a seasoned businessman. This is someone who really knows his stuff, and you can tell from like the way he speaks, right? This is not something that you can fabricate. You actually have to know your stuff to be able to talk this confidently, right? So, if you guys have any questions, please do so by raising your hand, and then I would unmute you, and then you can ask your question. If you do not want to speak, you can just type your question in the group chat, and then I'll read your question, and then he can, ask. I mean, he can answer. This is not just limited to like questions as well, because I'm sure there's also some of us here who also have experience in some of these things. So if you want to make contributions, if you feel like you have something that can add some value to this conversation, please, we also like to hear it as well. So yeah, guys, just signify by raising your hands here. Okay, I've seen some hands already. Let's start with Felix. Let me unmute you real quick. Felix, please make sure you're somewhere that's audible, somewhere that we can hear you. And please just ask your questions real quick. Yeah, let's hear from you.
Can you hear me, please?
Yes, sir. We can hear you. Good evening.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I said in the topic we is supposed to talk about ideation. I want to find out how to get a business idea outside your skill or your talent. Thank you.
That question, I beg your pardon.
I'm
So
asking how you can get a business idea outside your skill or talent.
Okay, thank you very much. Quick answer to that is that if you spot an opportunity, you can convert that into a business. Sometimes it doesn't have to do with your skill and talent. I only encourage people to run it by their skills and talent. But again, um, it depends on finding a problem, finding a challenge, finding a gap in the market. And like I said, it could be what customers want to gain or what pain customers want to lose. So people pay for what they can either gain or for what pain they can lose. People will pay you for everything that they don't know and they cannot do themselves. And you will pay people for all that you can do, for all that you cannot do, and all that you do not know. So it may not be exclusively, oh, I don't have a talent, right? But again, what is the market? What are the gaps in the market? Now, again, people can say, oh, but a lot of businesses are out there meeting this need. If you are going to get into that business as well, what will be your unique selling point? Let me quickly wrap this up with this scenario. When Airtel started in Nigeria, Airtel was the first GSM company that was licensed. Shortly after, it was Econet, it was a MTN. Now, MTN's strategy was to quickly spread around Nigeria, and their strategy was MTN everywhere you go. If you remember MTN Aba, MTN Oweri, MTN Onisha, MTN Uromi, that was their marketing campaign. So people moved. Of course, some people moved to MTN because of coverage, because people were traveling around and all of that. Then Glow came in and Glow said, you know one thing, these guys are spread around Nigeria. Let's bring in the per second billing, because Airtel and MTN were doing the per minute billing. In fact, a particular GSM company amongst these two said, oh, per second billing was not possible. Glow brought in Daddy Shoki, if I remember that advert, and there was a banana that the guy bought from somebody, and then he broke it into two and collected 5 naira from that other guy, right? Because he said it's per second billing. So if I make a 2 second score, I only pay for 2 seconds, not 1 full minute, right? So people started patronizing Glow because that was their unique selling proposition. Then Nine Mobile came, formerly Etisalat, or yeah. And then they said, okay, you know one thing? These guys are doing per second billing. These guys are all over Nigeria. What do we do? So we go for the gig economy, the Gen Zs. They started going to the campuses to run Etisalat campus shows and things like that. And their own strategy was, we will give you SIM cards for free, right? And when other networks call you, we will give you credit. So I could have an Etisalat and any other phone number, but when people ask me for my number, I would rather give people the Etisalat number because I mean I want credit, right? And I'm just a student. I don't even have money, right? So I just got to find a way of getting these things, and that's what Nine Mobile did, right? So what is that unique selling point in that market that may seemingly have existing product or service providers? Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for that response. Next person, Oluwatobi Adeyemi. Let's hear from you real quick. Okay, no response here. Let's go to the next person, Tito Plumber.
I'm talking. Oh,
Um,
hello. Can you hear me? Can anyone hear me?
okay, yes, we can hear you now. We can hear you now. Please go for it.
Can anyone hear me? I'm talking. God, I beg. Thank you so
Yes, we
much.
can
Okay.
hear you now.
Okay, thank you so much. Oh, so first I was appreciating speaker. Thank you for your time and for this insight. So my question is that what's your how can I get investment and fund my idea? So I have this idea. It makes sense. How will I get people really sponsor? I have a business right now. I want to upskill. I want to start something else, but I'm thinking I must I always save up. I have a lot of people that they get grants and sponsorship how do I get people to sponsor my idea? Or must I just completely save up all the money? So what's your idea of getting sponsorship for my idea to just start up? That's my question, sir.
All right. Thank you very much. So, yes, I understand. How do you get funding for your business? Typically, I don't like starting with you must have a lot of money to start a business, right? But that does not mean that somebody will tell you I started KFC with the feather of a chicken. No. Um, when it comes to starting a business, or sorry, funding a business, there are so many opportunities that are out there. Now, it depends on the kind of business it is. If it's tech startups, there are a lot of venture capitalists, angel investors, syndicates, and all of those things, right? That you can write a pitch deck, and do a presentation and all of that. Now, if it's not a tech startup, it's an SME, because there's a difference between a tech startup and an SME. An SME is not a fast growing business like a tech startup, right? Now, if it's an SME, of course, you can talk to BOI, you can go for competitions like the ones from Heritage Bank, the Titans. I hope I'm not making advertisements for companies, but I mean, there are a lot of these entrepreneurial outfits, non-governmental organizations, foundations that announce grants and funding. Some of them are actually grants. They're not even loans that is given to you. Some are from federal government. So it really depends on what you have. You could also source money from friends and family. You could also source money by doing invoice financing, by factoring. You get the deal, but you do not have money to execute. You can sell off your invoice to some other companies that are into buying invoices, and then they will execute on your behalf. So sometimes it's not the money that you need. You just need a better strategy to raise business finance. I know of a particular bank, they don't even ask you for a loan, a collateral, I beg your pardon, before they give you a loan. But again, I'm very careful when it comes to taking loans, especially for businesses that don't have clear understanding of their cash flow, right? So I would rather suggest you go for grants, you go for competitions, you write proposals to, or maybe give a part of the business, an equity, to an angel investor or some other, people who can, buy a percentage of your business. Again, remember, if your business can only be executed by you, then you're doing a small business. So please be open to collaboration, be open to people who can also fund your business. Thank you.
All right, thanks so much for that, boss. All right, the solution guy. Um, let's hear from you real quick. The solution guy, I unmuted your mic, so you can ask your question real quick, please.
Okay, thank you very much. And thank you for the opportunity for being here. So I basically want to add an insight on there's a question about ideas. So I'm a product developer and designer. So the insight I just wanted to add is about ideas. Thinking about trying to find ideas beyond the borders of what you do, your industry. So I'll use myself as an example. Number one is I always listen a lot to people, conversations like I read a whole lot, blogs and stuff, communities, I join groups and see problems from there. People have a whole lot of things they complain about, and these are issues that you can look at and see if you can solve. Even if you can't solve them yourself, you can find someone who can and build a team, 1, 2, 3 people in a team, and see what you guys can do about the whole thing. And that's one. And second thing is people like when you can save them time and save them money. You understand? So if you can build a solution that saves people time and save them costs in anything at all, that's something you can leverage as an idea. And also people like things that are organized. If you can take an existing solution and organize it in a way that is streamlined and easy to access for anyone, this is also a solution for just pick any idea that looks, if you look at the idea, I think it's not well structured. You structure it yourself and push it out there as a solution. It's basically your own idea. And these are just the insights I have to contribute. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for that as well. We also appreciate that. Thanks so much for that solution, guy. I love your name, by the way. Um, Joshua. All right, we have a couple of questions here. Joshua. Hi. Let's hear from you real quick.
Yeah, thank you, Juby. Thank you very much, Mr. Shegun, for this wonderful section. I've picked a lot from all you've said. Okay, a quick one. You mentioned the kinds of entrepreneurs and also season opportunity. So my question is for the part whereby you talked about, okay, not everyone can be an entrepreneur, but you advise that, okay, you go into business. And that's the part of investing in someone's business, or you find an opportunity and you invest in it. So for a business whereby you find an opportunity, what are the factors you have to put in place for someone that wants to put in his own resources into someone's business? Okay, so what are the things, what are the factors one must put in place before putting in a resources into someone's business? Thank you.
Shego, I really like this question.
I was talking on mute. Sorry. Hello.
Oh no, go on. I said I really like this question. It's similar to like the question I have for you as well. So I really like this one.
Okay. So, there are four things I tell people to consider when you are going to invest in someone else's business. Number one is the team. Who is the person, or who are the people running the business? You can have a fantastic idea, but if the execution is poor, it's going to go down the drain. So the team, do they have some experience in what they are saying they're doing, and all of that? So the team is number one. People sometimes actually invest in people, not even just in the product, because they know that whatever the situation, this guy is going to always come around, right? So the team is number one. Number two is scalability, right? Scalability. Somebody can come and tell me, Sheg, I want to run a barbing salon, and it's just going to be in a single location in Ikoyi. So where do you put the customers in Ikeja, right? If I'm going to invest in such, maybe let's just give you some money and do whatever you want to go. If you want to run a business and you want to scale, I mean, you want your money to work hard for you, you're looking for something scalable. So the model of the business has got to be scalable. That's number two. Number three, there has got to be path to profitability. No investor wants to hear, just give us money and let us execute. No. And there has to be a path to profitability. It may not be very clear because, again, it's something in the future. We don't know the future, but we can predict the future because we don't allow things happen to us. We make things happen, right? We are not spectators wondering what has just happened. So there should be a path to profitability. All right. And lastly, there's got to be some form of insurance for you. So are they going to give you an equity from the business? Because when you're going to invest, are you just going to drop your money without any form of protection for your capital, right? So it could be, give me this money, let me execute a project, let's have a sharing formula, let's drop a legal agreement, or invest in my business, I give you 10%, buy a stake in my business, I give you 10%, equity, blah, blah, blah. There has to be at least some form of insurance for your own capital. So I know you love the person, you like the model, the team is great, there's a path to profitability, but what if things go south? There's some businesses that I don't invest unless I have access or I have rights to their intellectual property. So even if anything goes south, we can use that intellectual property for something else. So these are four things that I always tell people, if you're going to put your money there, please consider those things. All right. Thank you. Trust that helps.
Thank you so much. So trying to run this real quick. So Tito Plumber. Hi. I think I gave you speaking permission before, but you didn't say anything. You're muted now, so you can ask your question or make your contribution. Please, let's make it real quick. I really don't want to keep Mr. Shego past 8 p.m. Okay. Bukola Adeyemi, hi, good evening. Let's hear from you real quick, please. Hi, Bukola, dear me.
Hi. Oh, sorry. I didn't know. I was already talking. I didn't know I was not muted. So
Okay.
sorry about that. Okay, so thank you once again, Mr. Segun. Really, really appreciate the session. So my question is about research, market research. So earlier you had talked about who is your target customer, what is your unique selling point and all of that. How do I make my research? Where do I go to? Do I limit myself to social media? What are the things I should look out for when I'm researching about other businesses and all of that? Because I'm just at loss as to where to start when it comes to researching about my ideas and other people already running the kind of thing I want to do. Thank you.
Question. So that's a very brilliant question, and I wasn't expecting it. Okay, so the market research you're going to conduct will vary depending on the kind of business you are doing or you want to do. It depends on the scale you are looking at. It depends on what you want to do. So let me give you an example. And I hope I'm not making adverts for these companies, but again, if you look at the banks, they tend to always open a branch beside themselves. Now that's a big, that's a big business, right? They tend to always open a branch beside themselves. Maybe because apart from the community policing that they can have and shared resources, they tend to be beside themselves. If you look at the malls, they tend to be beside themselves. So you see a spa, and beside the spa, you see maybe a barn or something. So they tend to try to be beside themselves. So now when it comes to market research, you want to conduct an activity that from customers' feedback, from questionnaires that you have shared, they can give you some valuable insights. So sometimes all you need to do is have a Google link, share it with people, tell them to fill a questionnaire, and that can guide you, because feedbacks are very critical to business. All right. So I don't know if you're running a business currently, or you want to run a business and you're asking, okay, how do I do my market research? Please, you can throw questionnaires around. If you cannot quickly, or if you cannot spot a challenge or a gap or a problem in that community. Now, if that's a kind of community, so I give an example. You go to a community and there are, a lot of children around, or there are a lot of schools around. In that kind of place, what you want to put, you probably want to have, let's say you are the entertainment guy, you can choose to have a gaming center, because those are the guys that will go there. You want to have an ice cream manufacturing company, because you know that you're going to pass in front of your ice cream factory every time they go to school and they come back from school, and maybe there is none that currently exists. Right now, that's for that kind of business. For another kind of business, it could be running a tech company. Another kind of business, I just told you about the banks, and I told you about the malls, the shopping malls, right? So it's actually vary from one business to the other. So I can't tell you this is a one way approach. But simply put, gather questionnaires, get feedback from customers, and you can not only build a business out of it, you can also tweak the services of that business to meet those customers. Number one. Then number two, actually look for what the need is in the place you are trying to sell. But if it is a business that's, it's scalable, it's orderable online, its service is like software as a service, it's something online. You can have customers even in Argentina, you can have customers in Australia, 9 hours ahead of Nigeria, 6 hours behind Nigeria, and all of that thing. Then, of course, that is a different ballgame, all right? So maybe a one-on-one conversation will help you if I can get specifically what business you're into or what you want to go into, then we can touch more on that more specifically. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. So we have 1 more minute to the hour mark. So we're going to take one question from the chat, and then DJ, I see your hand has been up. You'll be the last question we're going to take for today. So Segun Temidayo is asking, he's saying that he would like to know or they are saying they would like to know the difference between an active entrepreneur and a passive one, and if you can highlight some pros and cons of both.
To the question. Oh, okay. There's an option to even turn on video. Sorry, I should have turned on my video since I didn't know.
I told you, no, I told you Telegram had like a video feature. Hello, Shaka, are you still there?
I continue talking on mute. My apologies. Okay. So to your question, so I was saying that the three icons I saw earlier was settings, on mute, and leave. But I didn't know when it changed. The icon changed from settings to video. All right. So the question was active and passive entrepreneur. Okay. So wow, active entrepreneur is okay. Maybe he was trying to ask the difference between paid hobby, side hustle, and a business, but maybe this is what your question is, and that's okay. Now, an active entrepreneur is somebody who is actually involved in the business, the day-to-day running of the business, running a supervisory role, running on the business and working on the business, and also working in the business, right? That is what an active entrepreneur is. A passive entrepreneur can be somebody who has just invested in another business, or somebody who goes to a job, a 9 to 5, and then only in the evening he probably or she probably retires to a pharmacy or a supermarket or something that he or she has got, or run it on weekends and things like that. That's a high level, simple definition of the difference between an active entrepreneur and a passive entrepreneur. Now, I know people can also say, but there's a difference between an entrepreneur and a business owner. Yes, I know, but let's not go into all of those nitty-gritty so that we don't get people confused or people thrown off course. Now, what are the pros? An active entrepreneur actually has full visibility into the day-to-day runnings. You are employing people. You want to be careful that there is no pilfering in your business. You want to be able to offer customers the best of service, because again, you may choose to employ models as your receptionist. If they don't treat customers well, your business will go down, right? But you being in the business, it actually helps, people, it puts a lot of checks to things, right? Then for the disadvantage or the cons around it, well, you may be burned out. There are a lot of things for you to oversee, and especially if you have not institutionalized systems into the business, you may be the one doing a lot of things, covering a lot of aspects of the business. And that's that about that. Now, because of time, and there's one more question I think to take. Now, on the pro for a passive entrepreneur, if you're investing in a business and you are a non-executive director, you are not even really bothered, you only invested and you're expecting your return on investment as that works, right? You are a passive entrepreneur. You are part of the team, but you're not really actively doing anything in the team, or if you have a business that you only occasionally run it like a paid hobby, you do it as your free time. You are not burned out. It's only when you are free you go there. I mean, there's no stress. But again, such a business, the con around it is that it may not be that scalable because you're just doing it passively. You're just doing it without any form of goals you've set for yourself or targets you've set for yourself, something that you're chasing or something that is chasing you and all of that. So, on a high level, that's how I would leave it as the difference between a passive entrepreneur and an active entrepreneur.
All right, thank you, Segun. Okay, so, let's take. So I was supposed to take one from DJ, but I don't think they are still on the call again. Okay, so let's just take the last one. Oh, okay, I see them here. All right, DJ, last question. Let's hear from you. Hello, DJ. Please, can you unmute your mic and ask your question or make your contribution real quick, please?
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Shegun, thank you for this session. So my question is, as a businessman starting out in carrying out or in executing your business idea, what are the basic steps or baby steps one will need to take to execute the business idea and birthing it into reality in offering the services and the product? I want the steps and the processes it takes from conception stage to reality, giving and offering the services. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much for that question. So when I was talking earlier, I mentioned there is a 6 litmus test we always offer for people who say they want to go into business. Number one is I hope I remember all the 6 offhands. Number one is that is there a need for that product that you want to do? Right? If there's no need, there's nothing you can do about it. If there's absolutely no need, there's nothing you can do about it. Right? Number 2 is, does it give you a feeling of fulfillment? I know you're not you may not be expecting that, but yes, does it give you a feeling of fulfillment? A lot of people chicken out from their business because it doesn't give them fulfillment. Someone like me, no matter how wealthy I am, I cannot run a hospital. Or even if I do, I cannot be in that hospital because I can't stand the sight of blood. I cannot stand seeing a fresh accident victim. I can throw up, I can puke, I can even pass out. Right? So um, it does not give me fulfillment in any way. I like to sleep well at night and I don't want someone calling me for emergencies. So does it give you a feeling of fulfillment? Number 3, does it put your talents to work? Number 4, does it make you does it challenge you mentally? Number 5, does it there's about 6 of them. I can't remember the last 2, but maybe if I go to my documents, I can pick out the 6 litmus test. Now, having done all of these things, should I shock you? Amongst these 6 litmus tests, there is no one there that says, does it make you have money? No, because money is a byproduct of a value that has been delivered. So when people say they are chasing money, I think they're getting it wrong. You deliver value and you see money is a byproduct. It's just like sickness. You fall ill as a result of a byproduct. Illness is a byproduct. You have an unhygienic living. You probably sleep and you open your windows and mosquitoes get in and mosquitoes bite you and then you have malaria. Malaria is not the problem. The problem is that you left your windows open and you didn't shut the net and all of that. So sickness or whatever is a byproduct of unhygienic living. So money is a byproduct of a value that has been delivered. So you don't chase money, you actually chase value, right? So in the 6 litmus tests, again, maybe before this meeting wraps up, I can maybe even drop it in the Rise Telegram group so that you can reference it later. Money is not part of those things because some people actually go into entrepreneurship solely for money, and that's so when they don't see that money coming in the first 6 months or in the first 1 year, they say, oh, I think I've done the wrong thing. Because they look at Instagram and Facebook and they see people, post about their successful businesses and they figure out it can be too difficult to run their own. They are in for a shock, right? So after you've gone through the 6 litmus test, then you now have to, in the step-by-step process, you now have to also create your checklist. So we have a business checklist we share with people. The name of the business, the target audience, the planning, the marketing, the product or service, the branding, the finances, and the analytics. And there are some things under these things. So say, for example, under the marketing, You have a website, you have a business email. Your business email has an email signature. You've got a social media account. You have a mailing list. You have an email signature. You have business cards. You have photographic samples of your products and all of that. Under your finances, you have a business bank account. You have, a POS system and all of those things. Under, planning, you've got to choose a name, the business plan, the startup cost, the manufacturing cost, researching your competition, setting realistic goals. So we have checklists as well. So when you do all of these things, it actually helps you build that step-by-step process you have asked for. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. 10 minutes past the hour, 8 p.m. We've come to the end of this session, really. I want to say thank you so much. Thank you so much to Mr. Shego. This has been lovely. I must say, just off of my nature, I'm always very anxious when we put together these things, and I'm always very anxious for like the first one. I had been thinking about it all this while, not because I wasn't confident about you, but I don't know. It's just a natural reaction for me. Like I just always want to see how it plays out. And I must say, this was like really, really very, very good. Very insightful. In fact, I texted Victor like in the middle of this, and I was like, you know what? This is the strategy. Like we're going to be doing like a whole lot more of this. Just getting people to come on here and just share insights with the community via this Telegram chats, because just it's much more impactful than text, right? So thank you so much, Mr. Shegu. I also want to say thank you so much for everyone who turned up. I think at the peak of this, we had about like 95 people on here. That's a good number. I also want to say thank you for everyone who contributed. We've had some great questions. We also had some like great additions to the conversation. So guys, this is actually a 4-week program between RiseVest, a collaboration between RiseVest and Club E.F.I. Mr. Segun here is the founder of Club E.F.I. And we're going to be doing this every Saturday for the next 4 weeks, right? So next Saturday is going to be a new topic, and we're going to have another entrepreneur from Club E.F.I come to talk to us about that particular topic. So for this entire process to be impactful for us, we need to show up week in, week out, because you want to hear the next thing that's being said. You want to catch the next insights. And one thing I do want to remind us of, it's not just about coming on here and listening to Mr. Shego talk all this brilliant stuff. It's actually about how much of this stuff are we actually putting into practice? How much of this stuff are we actually trying to execute, right? So it's not just, oh, I attended this thing and it was very good. That doesn't do anything for you if you're not putting it into action, right? So yeah, thank you, Mr. Shegun. I really, really appreciate you coming to do this, taking out time from your evening, your busy schedule, to do this for the community. Thank you so much. Thank you, guys.
It's
I know
a
we
pleasure.
couldn't
Thank
answer all
you.
your questions. Yeah. um, I know we couldn't answer all the questions, guys. Like Uzo, for instance, I can still see your hands up, but I really don't want to keep Mr. Shegun here past this time. You guys know if it was just me, I could stay here for the next 40 minutes, but I don't want to keep him here past this time. So just come back for the next sessions, and you still have an opportunity to interact with him. As I said at the start of this call, he's graciously making himself available just to make some impact in people's lives, right? So you can still connect with him. So yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Shego. Thank you so much, risers. Thank you all for joining this. I want to see you guys on Thursday. We have a book club conversation on Thursday, so I also want to see you guys there. And then on Saturday we resume with this as well. So yeah, cheers, guys. Thank you, Mr. Shegun. I will chat you up later as well, just to
It's a pleasure.
Sorry.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. I'm just thanking the
Yeah.
audience as well for giving us their time. Thank you so much. Really appreciate.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. We have graceful people here in Rise's Telegram group. Very brilliant people as well. You can tell from the questions. But yeah, cheers, guys. Enjoy the rest of your evening, everyone. Bye, guys. Oh yeah, yeah. One more thing. Yeah, we'll share the summary of everything that like because this was recorded. So for some of the things that like Mr. Shegun shared. So for instance, like the litmus test that he spoke about. Don't worry, we're going to like write all of these things down and try to like summarize that, share to you guys so that you guys can still like consume some of this content. But yeah, enjoy the rest of your evening, everyone. Bye, guys. Be safe.